Hi everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to the first of our webinar series to discuss our new graduate occupational therapy program here at Better Rehab. My name is Karen, and I work within our talent team here at Better Rehab, and I am presenting with our amazing National Clinical Lead of Occupational Therapy, Elaine Lee. And we will a little bit later on have one of our previous students, Emma Flint, join us, who's gone through our new graduate program. And she's going to be answering some questions from Elaine and myself. Over the course of the webinar, we hope to give you guys a bit of an insight into the NDIS, I guess what working in that might look like, what a typical day looks like, what our graduate program here entails at Better Rehab, and give you some information on essentially how you can apply. If you do have any questions throughout the webinar, or you think of it while anybody is speaking, and please pop them in the chat because we will have some time at the end to discuss those. So I will click on and firstly talk to you guys about who we are, who Better Rehab is, and I guess why we're here talking to you today. Better Rehab is we are a national NDIS provider. We are Australia's very proudly fastest growing allied health provider of services across occupational therapy, speech pathology, physiotherapy, exercise physiology, AHA, and behaviour support practitioner work. We have changed the lives of almost 18,000 participants since 2017. We are very proud that 60% of our senior leadership team are women, with most of them promoted internally across our organisation. And we have a really strong, unrivaled work culture and are an organisation that offer great team support. So I guess I thought it would be nice and fitting to start off and tell you a little bit about how we were founded and why we came about. We're founded by an amazing occupational therapist by the name of Rachel Brimblecombe, who I guess was an OT university lecturer many years ago, and actually was really dissatisfied with the way services were being provided in the community to those living with disabilities. To Rachel at the time, it seemed the whole healthcare ethos was to work slowly, not actually give a damn about your clients, not care about your people, and go to work to essentially get paid rather than truly loving what you're doing. She found it extremely frustrating and demoralizing, and there didn't seem to be many organizations at the time that truly cared, I guess, about their clients and its people. So Rachel realized, I guess she had to put her money where her mouth is and actually be the change itself, find a way to develop a better way. And that's really what Better Rehab is all about, being better, helping more, and making a bigger difference in that community space. We've been proudly able to do that for thousands of participants, ensuring we have the best support in place for our clinicians to do so, to go out there and really make a difference in community. And she's managed to develop a culture that actually makes people want to get up and go out into the community and treat those participants, which is really just truly an incredible thing. So I guess for anybody that's joining on interstate outside of, I guess, New South Wales, where are we located? We are proudly located in 34 locations across Australia. We operate in every state aside from the Northern Territory, and you can see them all crop up on our little map there. So safe to say we have coverage in most of the larger cities, as well as smaller suburbs and those more rural or remote settings. I'll jump in a little bit to our values. You'll probably see our values posted on a lot of our advertising. If you ever come into one of the Better Rehab offices, you'll see them proudly kind of across our walls, but it's something that we're really, really proud of. And I think anybody that comes to our organization tends to align well with these. So what are these? We are a get shit done organization. Our clients and colleagues rely on us. We don't actually waste time and work really hard to help clients achieve their goals that they never thought was possible. Love what you do is another one of our values that truly is stemmed from our founder as well. We believe that when people love what they're doing, the best outcomes are achieved. And we employ people who are really genuinely passionate about their profession. I'm sure that's why most of you signed on to do your degree. So yeah, it's kind of harnessed in loving what you do. Frankly, we give a damn. Again, testament to everyone within this organization and Rachel for being that change. It's a career, not a job. We're super committed to providing you with an opportunity to really make a difference to those in need and some of our most vulnerable in society out there. We are people. I think that's echoed throughout our organization, and we're really proud to be an organization free from politics, bureaucracy, and genuinely care about our interactions with another and with one another and our clients. And we take a lot of pride in treating each client based on their individual needs. And we value ourselves. This was a newly added value of ours, founded by clinicians and people within the organization, and really struck a chord, I guess, with our leadership team. And I think it's truly amazing that we get to actually talk about this. We've confidence in our skills, training, and experience. We recognize if and when we need support, and we care for ourselves in order to care for others, which I think is really, really phenomenal out there in our sector of industry, and to have that from an organization. So I guess why work for Better Rehab? There's purpose. The people are amazing. We've got a really good culture. There's a wealth of experience and expertise across the organization. And I'm now going to jump into a little clip just to give you guys a bit of an insight.
What is better? It's being able to say you can to people who have always heard you can't. It's turning later into now. It's effort, it's commitment. It's overcoming challenges. It's creating opportunities. It's passion. It's support. It's togetherness. It's learning. It's growing. It's inspiring. It's questioning. It's leading. It's an input. It's an outcome. It's our promise. It's your reality. Better Rehab. Better for you.
Thanks, guys. So hopefully that gives you a nice snippet into Better Rehab, and we will now discuss what is the NDIS.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. What we thought would be really helpful for us to do is to start by talking a little bit about the very reason why Better Rehab became an organisation, as well as a thing that encapsulates all of our values, I would say, and that is the work that we do with the participants and the clients that we have the privilege of working alongside. So what's really helpful to know about Better Rehab is that about 95% of the work that our occupational therapists do is within the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Now, I know that for those of you, some of you, you might have had some placements within the NDIS itself, so you might be familiar with this information that I've got up on my slide. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with the NDIS, I've got some information here to give you a little bit of an insight into the type of work that we typically engage in the day-to-day. And also to talk about the opportunities that we have as occupational therapists working alongside participants within the NDIS itself. So a couple of fun facts about it is that the NDIS is a national scheme. It's actually in every state and territory in Australia, and it's helping over 500,000 people nationally, and that number is growing day by day. The NDIS addresses people with a diagnosed disability, and it aims to provide high quality person-centered support to eligible people aged 0 to 65 with intellectual, physical, sensory and psychosocial disabilities. The NDIS itself is an insurance scheme. So the scheme is designed to promote choice and control And the premise of it is to give all Australians peace of mind that if their child or loved one is born with or acquires a permanent or significant disability, they will get the support that they need. And I think one of the things I often say to people who consider working within the NDIS is like, just know that this is the biggest social reform that has ever happened. I would say in the Southern Hemisphere, but I'd say that it's pretty much leading when it comes to some of the health systems in the world as well. So we're pretty privileged and lucky to be working alongside a scheme like that, where it really focuses on ensuring that people have a sense of choice and a sense of control over the sort of support that they will receive, as well as the sort of goals that they want to set with their therapist and what they want to work on in the day-to-day as well. The other thing that's really helpful to know about the NDIS is that it hasn't been designed as a welfare system. Instead, the goal is to get people the support they need. And the NDIS uses, or participants under the NDIS, uses providers like us at Better Rehab so that their skills and independence can improve over time. So what does that mean for you as someone who's considering working within the NDIS? I would say to a lot of OTs who are considering working within this system, as saying that, when working in the NDIS, you're looking at a therapist that loves the variety of community-based therapy and community-based work. A lot of the work that we do is within the home and school environments and within the participant or the client's natural settings. In terms of people who work within the NDIS or therapists who work within the NDIS, they're generally therapists who really like that sort of long-term focus. If you're someone that loves to get to know your clients, loves to be involved in their life long-term and to help them celebrate the different milestones and the different goals that they will achieve within their lifetime, then this sort of work is for you. The other really great thing about working within the NDIS is that we get the opportunity to work within what we call a generalist caseload. We get to see the variety of participants that access the NDIS, and we get to work with all different age groups as well. And I think there is something really beautiful about the way in which we've been trained as OTs, our frameworks, our models of practice that allow us to work really effectively within a variety of people, because at the end of the day, our person-centered practice and our ability to look at what's meaningful for individuals is really at the core of what we do as OTs. So the NDIS is a really great scheme for occupational therapists like us. What it does is, within a generalist caseload, it actually offers you quite a lot of clinical autonomy. You have the ability to be able to try out different things, try out different interventions, work with participants with different conditions, and you find yourself constantly learning within a role like this and developing your skills and developing your flexibility as an occupational therapist in working with different people as well. What the NDIS has also done is allow for us to gain access to funding that will allow us as occupational therapists to work better with our clients and our participants. I think one of the major differences between what was pre-NDIS and what the NDIS was able to offer is that participants now have access to a greater amount of support and a support that is more applicable to the individual needs as well. Which sort of goes on to the next point, is that we have the opportunity to really truly advocate for clients to get what they need. The other thing that is a real hallmark of working within the NDIS and within the community setting is that we have the ability to be frequently engaged with the client support team. A lot of the work that we do as occupational therapists within the NDIS setting is we liaise with different members of the allied health team, but we also have the opportunity to work with different stakeholders like support coordinators, like teachers within schools, or support workers that work alongside the client or the participant. And obviously with that comes a lot of opportunities for you to further your career and to develop your skills as an occupational therapist. There is just this wealth of different avenues that you can take within the NDIS, as well as different learning experiences that you can embark on as an occupational therapist as well. What might be really helpful for us to have a talk about is the type of people that you'll be helping if you choose to work within the NDIS. I mentioned before that you'll be working within a generalist caseload, which in itself brings lots of fantastic opportunities for you to develop these skills as an OT. So you'd be helping people with a variety of different conditions. This could be people or clients who have a neurological condition. It could be clients who have a progressive neuro condition, people with physical disability, people who have a diagnosis of ASD or intellectual disability, or psychosocial conditions, as well as people who have a genetic disability. One of the things that we do as Better Rehab is we acknowledge the value of a generalist caseload for some of our developing occupational therapists. So we know that with a variety, it means that you'll be able to embark in lots of really fantastic learning that will allow you to hone in your skills as an OT, allow you to lean into your understanding and application of your frameworks and your theories of practice. But one of the other things we are also really interested in is we also acknowledge that as you grow and develop as a therapist, you also have areas of interest in which you might want to lean into. So one of the things that we generally will work with our clinicians on as they sort of progress in their career is, what are these areas of interest and how do we continue to empower you to lean into the areas that you really love to do? Certainly, one of the things that we are unable to do is promise like 100% of a caseload in a certain diagnostic condition or practice area, but acknowledging that we do, I reckon we do a really great job in acknowledging the areas of interest that people have and allowing them to be able to, really hone in on those skills as well as develop their knowledge in different areas as well. But certainly, it's one of those things where we would also love to offer you the ability to be able to practice in that general space when you are new graduates, so that you're able to, again, really hone in on those skills and experiences that you have. Another thing that might be really helpful for you to know is where you will be helping people. So as we said, it will be very much that sort of community-based practice. And you'd be helping people within their home, within the school environment, within the aged care facility, within their group home, as well as within our clinics as well. So the different environments in which you're able to support people will be really varied, and it will be very much up to the goals of the clients and the participants that you're working with, as well as what is most suitable for them at a particular point in time. And so no day no 2 days are the same when you are practicing as a therapist within the NDIS. And I think what it does is adds some really beautiful variety in your day-to-day as well. Karen, do you want to have a quick chat about how we support our therapists to grow and to develop as they enter our organisation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess at Better Rehab, we really care about the learning and development side of things. We have a number of learning initiatives here at our fingertips, I guess, at Better Rehab, and allow for professional development within the organization, such we allow for that at online universities. We offer operational clinical supervision, and we also offer 4 days of paid studied leave and give financial contributions to continual professional development. We have resources such as our online learning hub, which is just amazing. And that's not just when you're onboarded to our organization. It's structured to help you throughout your career, coming in as a new graduate and working as an early practicing clinician right through to senior or kind of specialized or principal clinician level. So it's a really amazing resource that at any given time is available for you, with thousands of modules that go into varying different things that support you to develop, not just in your early career, but throughout your career at Better Rehab, which is really, really amazing and something that I think is quite unrivaled out there in the workplace. I guess from a clinical supervision piece as well, that's super important early on in your career, but also as you develop throughout your career at Better Rehab, and something that we're really, really proud to offer. We're very structured from a clinical supervision perspective, and you also have a direct supervisor that works with you and to understand how you work and operate, but to support you right from the outset as well. And then I guess I'll talk about some of the other benefits within our organization. So L&D would be a big reason and a big, I guess, desirable factor for people coming to our new grad program. But we are really proud to offer flexibility and have well-being at the core focus of who we are. If you guys recall earlier, I mentioned we value ourselves as one of our value. And I think anybody in the organization is kind of a testament to that. We really do kind of seek that work-life balance, and we're allowed to do that through different means within the organization. So I guess from a wider organizational perspective, we have flexible working arrangements. We have the ability to adjust hours, work from home and the office. Often in the community space, there aren't central offices or hubs for you guys to be able to work from. So we have the ability to have that team culture and support for you, but also have the ability for you to work from home. And from a flexible perspective as well, we have, I guess, the ability to relocate you interstate. If you're interested in trying or seeing a new city, we can support you to do that. We are really proud of having the latest technology within the organization. We partner with cutting edge suppliers to offer participants out there the best that we can. We offer market leading remuneration. We are paid really well for the work that we do. And then I think something that's really important is there's clear targets that are achievable. We're really transparent about that, and you're rewarded for going above and beyond. So your well-being is really looked after, but we also reward you for just doing what you love to do. We also have an EAP, which is an employee assistant program, which is super important, I think, for any clinician new to the world or any worker to have that support from your organization, especially in the clinical world and sectors such as the NDIS. A personal favorite of mine is, I guess, within the organization, we have well-being days that allow you to just recharge your batteries. And I think that's something that is to be celebrated. Not every organization can offer that, but that's something that we really truly encourage you to do and take. And it's actually structured into your onboarding to show you how to kind of factor in those days or have that time accounted for so that you don't burn out as a clinician. And then we're also really looked after from a snacks and breakfast being provided every day within our organization. Probably another favorite of mine. We are truly looked after here, and the little things right through to the larger things that really place the emphasis on us and our well-being. Another thing, I guess, that you'll get at Better Rehab, we're really keen on team bonding, I think, and that's right across the country. We have really collaborative office spaces with multidisciplinary colleagues and other graduates that you'll actually get to work with, but build relationships outside of your specific discipline. We go to a lot of industry celebrations, and conferencing is a big thing for us, and we're often encouraged or supported to do that. Which I think is really, really nice and gives you guys a really good insight into what's going on, what's relevant in your sector, and keeps you kind of well engaged with your network out there. And we really love to celebrate, as you can see from the varying pictures there, in style. I guess our owners are big on themes, which I think is really fun across our organization. We celebrate Christmas. We have frequent site team parties, graduation ceremony. Halloween is very big at Better Rehab and taken very, very seriously. And we also have an amazing team leader retreat as you, I guess, develop in your careers. If you go down the leadership pathway, that's a really big highlight within our organization, and something that we're really proud to celebrate as well. Beautiful. And then I think we'll dip into life at Better Rehab, and I guess some of the, I'll jump into some other benefits that we sometimes have on offer. We have things that you may have heard about, such as better rewards. that we can offer in our organization. So we have a reward system that you can actually get paid out on for going above and beyond your typical treating hours. And a lot of our clinicians actually can bank rewards points to gain, I guess, experiences, financial benefits within our organization. We have novated leasing on offer here, which I think is really good. There's pre-tax benefits to allow you to purchase a new car within our organization. We have paid parental leave, and that's 14 weeks paid parental leave throughout the organization. And professional indemnity insurance, which I guess you guys are now getting familiar with, is something that is covered by us as an organization, and something that is not often factored in when you're joining a new company. So something that we're really quite proud of as well. Perfect. So I might just actually dip back for a sec to go through I guess one of the other benefits of the beauties of being in our organization is to talk about your career trajectory. I know we're discussing the new graduate program today, but I think it's really important that when you do join an organization, you understand that there is a career development pathway and what your career can potentially look like. So that's mapped out. And people are really supported to develop throughout their careers. So this is what your potential journey might look like at Better Rehab following the joining of the new graduate program. Graduate clinician, then you would transition into an early practicing, developing into senior. And we have a pathway mapped out for you if you are interested in operating at that principal clinician level. So I think it's really great that we've it mapped out for you, and that's kind of on your horizon if you come in and are successful in your journey at Better Rehab. So I will hand back over to you guys to talk in a little bit more detail about the specific graduate program and why you guys may have joined in today.
Yeah, great. Happy to have a chat about our graduate program. So as you're aware, we offer a new graduate program that extends for about 12 months with an intensive upskilling period that happens within the first 6 weeks, 6 weeks to 3 months of your time at Better Rehab. So thought it'd be helpful to share some pictures from our graduate program from 2020, but we've also got Emma, who is one of our new graduates from this year, who will be joining us a little bit later. And I'm going to be asking Emma some questions around the decision-making and her journey as a graduate. But before we do that, it might be really helpful for us to have a chat about our graduate program and what makes that industry leading. So one of the things that we really acknowledge as people who join us as graduates is that there is a lot of learning that's required when you first commence within not only practice as an occupational therapist, but within practice within the NDIS itself. And so one of the things that we're really conscious of is making sure that we provide you with the time and the resources for you to do that learning through the period of time of like transition into practice itself. So we have a 26-week program that looks at a sort of a graded upskilling for you to acquire the skills and the knowledge that you need to practice within the NDIS itself. We often would look at a small graduate cohort as well. We acknowledge that it's important for you to have buddies and peers to journey with you through that process, so you're able to learn together and bounce off each other through that process as well. And that's something that we love to foster and facilitate. Again, as Karen alluded to, we have a supervision framework in which we utilise to provide you with the clinical supervision that you need, not only within the graduate program period of time, but a supervisor that will continue to journey with you and to support your growth and development as an OT. Obviously, you've got the joys of working together with different members of the MDT, including people like, physios, EPs, speech pathologists, and positive behaviour support practitioners. And there's a wealth of knowledge and learning that you can gain from the other disciplines as well. One of the things that we try to pair our grads up with is a dedicated buddy for you to journey through the grad program with. So you've got someone that you can sort of go to whenever there's a question that you need to sort of work through together, or just someone to debrief with as well as you go through the learning process. One of the things that we, as you are aware, that we love within Better Rehab is obviously our team environment, and there will be a team around you that will support you go through that program itself. And there'll be lots of bonding opportunities throughout that period of time, as well as time of reflection for you to really consolidate the learnings that you've embarked on, and think about how you've applied that within practice. And that's something that you will do not only by yourself and within the programs that will, or the sessions that we will connect you with, but also with your clinical supervisor as well. Great. So we have a guest with us today, as I mentioned before. So I might ask Emma to turn her camera off and turn herself off mute. So we're going to be asking Emma a few questions about her experience, and we sort of thought it'd be helpful to bring Emma on, because what better way to share with you what that journey looks like than to ask for one of our own and someone who's gone through that this year. But Emma, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you study OT, and what site are you currently located at?
So yes, my name is Emma. I studied at Curtin University, Western Australia, and I'm currently placed in Coburn, with a great team of mine.
Lovely. So for those of those people on the call who have no idea where Coburn is, whereabouts is that located in Australia?
So Western Australia, a little bit south of Perth, so not too far.
Lovely. So with our WA team over there in Perth. Emma, obviously you've had to, do a lot of thinking when it came to applying for your first job. So what were some of the considerations that you had when applying for your first job and looking at grad programs?
Yeah, well, for me, I had a couple of points that I was looking for when I was looking for a grad program. First of all was definitely the support that I was going to be given, not only in my grad program, but following through. Because obviously coming out as a new grad, you want to have that support to ask as many questions as possible. The other one was actually PDs and what the company can offer in regards to that, whether they can support you in finding those PDs and giving you obviously access during some of those work hours to get involved in those. And also what were the benefits of the company, which obviously Better Rehab has amazing benefits that really drew me to it. And then the other one was actually having realistic billable hours, or your KPIs.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works, Emma, and I haven't prepped you for this question, but what was the benefit that drew you to Better Rehab?
The benefit would
Was there
probably
one or
be the
two?
whole...
Yeah.
Sorry?
Were there like one or two, or like all of the benefits?
I think most of them were, but I think definitely the flexible working hours.
Yeah, right.
I know for me, working morning is more productive for me. So if I'm not seeing clients, I'm happy to start early and do my reports. And then the afternoons, I can go off and do my sport or whatever it might be.
Yeah. It sounds like that's really worked for you. That's really great.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for people to really be able to identify like their working, I call them like working patterns or working rhythms. Certainly, there are some therapists where like they work much better in the morning, smashing out reports. And then there's other clinicians that work way better, like towards the end of the day or in the afternoon to smash out reports. And it's really important for us to really work out what that pattern is like. So it's really great to hear that that's worked for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been involved with our grad program over the last 8 months. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the program.
Well, my experience, I definitely don't regret joining Better Rehab. I have been offered the amount of support that I've been offered was amazing, not only from my supervisors, but how friendly the whole team is. So they were also supportive. It doesn't matter when I had one of my questions, someone was always open to answering them. And also I think as well, Elaine, you spoke about was the caseload that we get given. It gives you that broader kind of understanding of, the people that you can work with and potentially specialize with later. But I really think that it was so beneficial to have that broad caseload.
Yeah. which sort of leads me to the next question. So now that you have worked in the NDIS for the last 7 months, what do you think are some of the challenges and opportunities when it comes to working in this industry? And as a lead on to that question, what advice do you have for any students that are considering work in this area?
For me, I think the challenge actually was finding that you'll find lots of different areas with a client that you really want to work on, but you don't have the time to work on everything in that moment. So I think advice-wise for that, I think working with your team, whether it be at Better Rehab or whether it be your MDT team, is going to give you the best result for that client, and put everything that you want, or as much as you can, in place in that time.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then I
sort
guess,
of challenges?
Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there are any other sort of challenges and opportunities and learnings?
I think it kind of goes the same way with NDIS. It is sometimes challenging to navigate, but I find communication is really essential when working with clients. Most of your team have worked in it for a little bit of time, and even if they haven't, we all work it out together. So it's definitely not like you're left in the dark at all during those challenges.
Yeah, fantastic. So it sounds like for you, what's really worked is the amount of support that you received, the ability to be able to like go to people and ask questions and have someone like almost like troubleshoot and think through some of the curly sort of not even clinical questions, but some of the questions about navigating the scheme itself. Yeah. And it sounds like having peers, having other people that are sort of going through the same situation, other new grads to sort of bounce off, has been really helpful as well, right? As you have grown and learned. Yeah, great.
Absolutely. And I find that everyone has different ideas, so it's always great, whether they be a new grad or whether they be someone that's been at Better Rehab for a year or two. We all have different ideas and perspectives. So
yeah, amazing. Thanks so much for that, Emma. Guys, there will be a chance for you to ask Emma any questions as well towards the end of our time together. But thank you so much, Emma, for sharing your experiences. I think it's really encouraging to see how valuable that has been for you and just the learning. And I know personally to see sort of your growth as a clinician as well. That's been really great to witness. So thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you. No worries.
Karen, what's next?
So what's next, guys? Well, we are currently accepting applications for most of our sites throughout Australia. We have actually probably signed up about 25 new graduates as part of our new program across multiple disciplines. So if you are interested, even if that's finding out further information, we would love to hear from you. We'll get you to email your cover letter and CV to myfuture@betterrehab.com.au. And myself or one of our talent team can arrange a call, as I said, even if it's regarding structure, what the grad program looks like, and we're here to give those answers to you. So that would be, I guess, the first step. Deciding on your preferred location. Generally from there, we will book in an interview with one of our clinical team or two of those. You will generally receive feedback from that interview within a 48-hour period. And then if you are successful, you receive an offer and we have you booked in for our graduate program, which this year commences at the very end of January. And then we do keep touch points with you all throughout, I guess, that next period. I know some of you will still be on clinical placements, et cetera, et cetera. So we will have varying touch points, such as a meet and greet with your supervisor. We do invite you to varying in-service pieces along the way. Also invited to our Christmas parties, which is really nice, and we ensure you're structured and set up for your start date. So that's pretty much it in terms of next steps if you are interested. And then I guess I will just dip on to that email again. You can call us on the number below or myfuture@betterrehab.com.au. And I can follow up with everybody post this webinar and to share the recording, especially if some people couldn't attend, but that address will be in there as well. And hopefully we've answered some questions today and we have sparked your interest in being part of our new graduate program at Better Rehab.
Yeah, great. I think that's it from us, really, Karen. Hey,
Yeah.
what might be really helpful is allow some time for you to ask us any questions, whether it be to ask myself, Karen, or Emma about a program, about working for the NDIS. If you do have a question, feel free to fire that away in the chat, and I'll get Karen, if you can just sort of have a look at it and read it out. Yeah, we can get some of your questions answered.
Yeah.
We'll just
Perfect. I'll
give people
kick
a
us
little
off
bit of
with
time to
the
get in. Yeah.
yeah, give people some time in regard to questioning. What one of our attendees has asked in regards to the new graduate program, will they be in with varying other disciplines, or is it OT specific, or how does that work in terms of when they start?
Yeah, absolutely. I can answer that question. So you'll be going through your graduate program firstly together with other members of the MDT. And there will be so the way in which our graduate program is structured is you'll have sessions with the bigger graduate cohort in the first day, and then there'll be times in which you'll sort of break out into different workshops and different sessions. Some of those sessions will be with the other members of the MDT, and then some of those sessions will be OT specific, depending on the content of that session as well. But there will be plenty of opportunities for you to get to know your fellow physios and your speech pathologists and PBS clinicians as well.
Perfect.
I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, if you have a follow-up question, feel free to pop it in the chat.
Beautiful. We've got they're coming in fast and hard now. So how many intakes do you have a year? Is it just one at the beginning, or do you also offer a mid-year intake? I can happily answer that one. We love to, I guess, onboard majority of the cohort at beginning of the year, purely because that's how we're kind of structured for a bulk of our new graduates. However, we do factor in some universities have a mid-year graduation, so we also have capacity for those universities to be onboarded, and they will still be taken through the structured graduate program. So yes, majority of our roles will be filled. Depends on where we have capacity, but we do absolutely consider universities that have a mid-year graduation. And I have another question. I can send it your way, Elaine. What are the, I guess, initial PCH or KPIs starting off versus a full caseload?
Yeah, so I might start off by talking about what a full caseload looks like and our KPIs, or what we call participant care hours. So at Better Rehab, we operate on 100 productive hours per month, so for every 4 weeks. The reason why we talk about our KPIs as per months or cycles of 4 weeks is because we acknowledge that there are ebbs and flows to your caseload, and that you'll have some busy weeks where you'll be sort of doing a lot of reports or doing a lot of appointments, and then you'll have some slower weeks, and that's just the way in which our interactions and our work with participants sort of flow. And so but if you had to sort of reverse engineer that amount, that would be 25 productive hours per week. In terms of your initial start commencement period, what we have are a set of sort of what we call a sort of ramp up period, where we acknowledge the time that you would need to do the learning associated with the NDIS. And so there will be almost a graded build up to those 25 productive hours per week, 100 hours per every 4 weeks. Next question.
Beautiful. I'll go to the last one in. Is there preferred work experience or placements that Better Rehab look at on resumes, i.e. allied health assistant experience and disability support work? I guess we can both look at that. In an ideal world, if you have had exposure to disability, be it support work, working as an allied health assistant, yes, we think that's fantastic because it aligns really well and it gives you that introduction in some way, shape or form to the NDIS or what the world of allied health would look like, especially in a community setting. But in general, it's a new graduate program. We are very well equipped to be able to support you right from the outset of your career. We often think of it as a cultural hire to make sure we are getting people that are aligned with us, but also we align with people for their first kind of career post university. So whilst it is definitely beneficial, it wouldn't be a deterrent if you don't have that experience or you haven't had capacity to do that throughout your undergraduate. I guess for yourself, Elaine, from a clinical perspective, would that be similar?
Yeah, that would be similar. I mean, if you have some experience working as an allied health assistant and disability support work, of course, that is going to help give you some context as to the sort of work you'll be engaging in, particularly within the occupational therapy space. I think, as someone who works, with a lot of new grads, I think one of the key things that I often look for as a hiring manager is I'm pretty real with candidates in saying, hey, the NDIS it's pretty hard. It's a pretty hard practice area to work with. What I love to see in candidates is that desire to learn and to grow and to develop as occupational therapists, because we're going to get you there and we're going to provide you with all the support and all the knowledge and skills that you need. And we just love having people who are really excited about growing in that way and taking on the challenge of doing a bunch of things that are really different, and that's going to help you develop and grow your clinical reasoning. And that's essentially what we look for, really. Any other
Beautiful.
questions?
We'll take one final one. I'll just doing these as they've last come in, and then if there's anything else we haven't answered in this, guys, I'll follow up with you afterwards. When working from the road, is there compensated car costs or a company car? Great question. Absolutely. So we don't offer a company car as such. We offer a novated lease scheme to some to all clinicians if they don't have their own vehicles. So it is a lease scheme that allows you to hire through our organization. And it essentially costs less. It's a tax benefit that we can give you. And yes, we do reimburse kilometers that you travel. At a rate, and our kilometers are reimbursed. I'm going to say on a fortnightly. I probably should know this. On a bit more. Is it fortnightly, Elaine, that we reimburse?
Monthly.
Monthly. I
You will
should
be
know this.
reimbursed for the kilometers
Yes,
traveled.
absolutely, we do. And that's something I guess that's really important for you guys to factor in as well. That if you are considering opportunities, especially community-based ones, to ensure that you're supported by your organization, but we absolutely reimburse for the travel.
Great, amazing.
Beautiful. I think that's us. There's a few more questions, but I will get those answered individually, and happy to pick up anything offline as well with you guys. Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. Elaine, thank you so much for that amazing insight into, I guess, the program NDIS in the community space. Emma, as well, for your really genuine and kind of, I guess, valid answers. I guess it gives people that are considering opportunities just an insight into what their future could look like. So we really appreciate you joining. From Western Australia. But on behalf of us all, thank you so much and have a lovely rest of your afternoon or evening.